How's it going? How you doing? Happy to be here. It's Monday Mayhem. I love Monday Mayhem. It's amazing. No, I'm not wearing black because I want to be like everyone in Hollywood. I'm wearing black because I wear black all the time because it's the only color I love more than any other color in the world. I'm wearing a blue skirt though, so it's okay. I'm not like color blocked or anything or in mourning or anything or trying to pretend that I'm like famous or something. Although I am famous in my own head, so I mean, let's be real. So welcome to Monday Mayhem. It's the first Monday Mayhem of 2018. Super happy about it. I just realized that I forgot to write the description of Monday Mayhem in my thing, so that's mediocre. But anyway, I'm here. Yay! Hi. So I'm actually going to start with the Can We Not with Oprah. I love Oprah. Don't get me wrong. Hi, Denise! How are you? It's good to see you. I'm going to start with Can We Not with Oprah for this reason. I love Oprah. My mom was on Oprah. I love Oprah. She's amazeballs. Oprah, I do not want Oprah to be my president. Hi, Kevra. How are you? You're awesome. It's good to see you. Hey. Here's why I don't want Oprah to be my president. So I love Oprah. Her speech, magnificent. Cried. Jim cried. We all cried. Everybody cried. Everybody's excited. I don't want her to be the president. The problematic thing about talking about Oprah being president is we are taking away from what she said while she was talking. So we are still not having a real conversation about rape and sexual assault. And what Oprah said was, for too long, women have not been heard or believed if they dare speak the truth to the power of those men. But their time is up. And yet here we are on the Twitters and the Facebooks and the Instagrams and all the places talking about Oprah running for president, not talking about women daring to speak truth to power and fighting these men who are sexually assaulting us and raping us. And I just find that to be hugely problematic. And what I really don't understand, honest y'all, Facebook people, what I don't understand is why more people aren't on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram saying, I want Oprah to be my president. I want her to be the badass superstar, amazeballs woman that she is. And I want to talk about what she said. Because what she said was, we're done getting raped. We're over it. We don't want to be sexually assaulted anymore. We don't want to be harassed. No, you can't grab my ass. These are mine. You can't touch them. Hands off, people. That's what she said. But we're not talking about that. No. We're talking about whether or not Oprah's running for president. And Oprah's not running for president. Because here's the thing. Hey, Kristen! Hey, BFF! Oprah's not running for president. You know why? Because if Oprah was going to run for president, she would have gotten into politics much earlier than right now. Hey, Courtney, how are you? Oprah's not running for president because Oprah doesn't want to be the president. She does not want to be the president. Okay? Bottom line, at the end of the day, is Oprah wants to be Oprah. And by talking about Oprah being the president, we are not talking about Oprah saying, but their time is up. We are done. Okay? So let's redirect the conversation. All y'all who are here on my Facebook land, let's redirect the conversation on your Facebook feed to say, screw Oprah being president. I want to know when we're going to talk about being raped. I want to know when we're going to talk about getting your grabby hands off my beautiful ass. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I'm done with the harassment. I'm done with the bullshit. When are universities going to step up and protect their students from harassing professors? When is Hollywood going to step up and fire every asshole who's ever groped or raped a woman? When are we going to start having those conversations? And that's what Oprah was talking about. And that's why I'm so fucking pissed off this morning that I had to wake up to Twitter saying Oprah 2020. Fuck that shit all to hell. No. Okay. Ooh, I even got in a fight with Jim a little bit about it because he was like, why not? And I was like, are you serious? Our commander-in-chief, this is not like an entry-level position. Look at what's happened. No, not entry-level. The president of the United States is not an entry-level position. You should at least have some political clout before you walk into that seat. Just saying, the Oval Office is not meant for people who don't have political acumen. It's not. Look at what's happening. I cannot even with this shit. Okay. Whew. Hi, Amy Wolf. I'm so happy you're here because I just got off a rant and now I'm going to go on another one. And Amy Wolf, you were part of my inspiration for this rant. Okay, so it's Monday Mayhem, right? So I'm stirring some shit. I posted the blog already, but here's the deal. So I spend a whole lot of my life on Twitter. Yay, Kristen. I know. Dale's so smart. I love her. You tell her I said yes. Make her watch my Facebook Live. Okay, Dale is Kristen's boss. Anyway, so, okay, so listen to this. So I spend a whole lot of time on Twitter. I love Twitter. Love Twitter. Okay, so I love it. And I have this really amazeballs group of feminists and social workers and politicians and life coaching people and all these people that I'm surrounded with on the Twitters. And I love the Twitters because I've built this incredible, amassed, gorgeous group of humans. When I get like attacked, I just block and I don't even let it into my stream of consciousness. And I love Twitter. Okay, so here's what's happening on Twitter. And I've seen it a little teensy bit on the Facebooks, but mostly on Twitter because that's where I spend a majority of my time. And it is this. And I have fallen into the soupy mess of attacking people who are not like me. And I've done it, and I always regret it because it is not kind, loving, and generous. I am tired of the using words like, I hate all Republicans. All. I hate all Republicans. No. I hate Republican women. No. We hate the system that has been created that means that we pigeonhole people into boxes. And I have a really big problem. So I'm looking at this like, if I'm looking at this as a social worker, which I am, and I'm looking at this as a systems problem, which I am, if we continue to say, I hate all of the things, then we're not going to change any of the things. And if we continue to say, I hate all the Republican women, then we aren't going to be able to connect with women who are different than we are. And I find it hugely problematic that I am seeing over and over in these women that I respect and I adore and that I love who are saying the word hate and all in a sentence. Because here's the thing. Am I angry at America? Yeah, pretty much. For the most part, every once in a while, that just creeps on in my anger. Am I angry at every single Republican woman in the universe? No, I'm not. For a couple of reasons. One of them is my grandma is a Republican woman who she's now gone, but she raised me on some really good, solid Republican principles. One of them is fiscal conservancy, which can go a little bit too far with all this states' rights madness and all this like uber conservative stuff. But for the most part, I believe that many Republican women believe in being liberal when it comes to humans and conservative when it comes to money. And I don't think that is a problem for most Republican women that I know. And that means I'm not talking about the racist Republican women. I'm not talking about Republican women that hate me because I'm a member of the LGBT community. I'm not talking about women who want to take away my bodily autonomy and take away my right to choose whether or not, hey, Geneva, how are you? It's good to see you. Whether or not, something is going on in my reproductive system. I'm not talking about those women. I'm talking about the women like my friends who are debating whether or not they're going to leave the Republican Party, but they don't know where else to go, who are lost, who I'm connecting with, who are saying, I don't know what to do anymore. Because this is not my party, but I don't want to be a Democrat because I'm not a Democrat, and I don't know where I fit anymore. And so by saying I hate, I'm angry, I hate, we aren't doing anything to solve the problem and come together in unity. And I think that's hugely problematic, and it's the backlash. So I talk in my blog today about the backlash, Susan Faluti's Backlash, which is one of the greatest books I've ever read in my life. And it was totally life-altering and mind-blowing and all of those great things. But the backlash that Republican women are experiencing from liberal progressive women is hugely problematic if we're ever going to get rid of the sexist fascist people who are leading this country currently. Because it's going to be up to women to rise up. And it's going to be up to us, the entire matriarchy, not just the progressive matriarchy, but the entire matriarchy, for us to come together in our churches and our living rooms and our boardrooms to sit down and say, hold on, Courtney, I'll get to your question in just a second. To sit down and say, okay, we have this community, and this is our neighborhood, and this is our county, and this is our state, and how are we going to fix it to improve it, to make it better? Because if we don't do that, we are continuing to alienate the population that needs to rise up. If we are a majority of the population, if 53% of us exist in the universe, then we have to come together collectively to engage in the uprising. And I've said this before, and I don't know if I've said it on one of my Facebook Lives or not, but I have like this dream, and I've got to find a cartoonist that can make this like a short film for me. So if any of you know a cartoonist, please, by all means, let me know. Where these big, giant cartoons hand comes in, and it's kind of like, like I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill, like, Schoolhouse Rock. But all these big, giant hands come in, and they pluck out every single person who's in elected office right now. Every single one, male, female, it doesn't matter. Pull out all the people and replace them with their opposite gender. So all the men become women, and they stay in the same political party, but all the men become women, and all the women become men, and we keep the transgender folks because they're awesome. And we just replace everybody, okay? And all the queers stay just as the queers because the queers are awesome. I say that as a queer. So we replace all the men with women and all the women with men. And for 98 years, because that's how long we've had suffrage, we just let the men trickle in slowly so they feel like they're breaking their glass ceiling. But for the most part, all the women run the world. And everything would shift. Because we know when women are in elected office, women pass laws and policies that help their communities first and then them second. When men are in office, they pass laws that benefit themselves first, okay? What I'm saying is we can't keep using the vitriolic terms, hate, 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 because to make hate, to say hate, breeds hate, and we can't keep hating because it's not right. And I was raised with the golden rule to do unto others as you would have done to you, and I was raised that you love thy neighbor because I was raised in Utah, so I was raised to love thy neighbor as I would myself. And I don't believe that we are going to get anywhere as a nation if we continue to alienate Republican women as progressive women. And it is not okay. And it's just like being the progressives. I really have a huge problem with it. A really big, huge problem with it. And what I'm saying is there are women who we need to be reaching out to say, how are you feeling? What's going on with you? How do you feel about where the GOP is right now? Are you happy with what's going on in politics? What can you do to change that on a local level? What are you doing to change that on a local level? How are you involved in your community? How can I help you? How can we bring together a room full of Republican women and Democratic women to sit down together in a living room or a school or a conference room and say, what are we going to do to shift all this crap? Because we're all mad about it, but we have to work together if we're going to change it. And Courtney, to answer your question, what's your view that you can't be fiscally conservative and socially liberal in reality? I actually find that to be the largest bunch of horseshit on the planet. And let me tell you why. As a lobbyist in Utah for Planned Parenthood of Utah, I passed multiple pieces of legislation that were socially liberal and fiscally conservative. For example, when we did the Fertility Outcomes Protection Act, so in Utah, gonorrhea and chlamydia were rising at 4 times the national average. The rates were still lower than most places in the country, but they were rising, even though nobody had sex in Utah. And so I went to the legislature and I said, the health department needs $350,000 for STD testing and treatment, because in the long term, it's going to cost this much money to deal with all of these other issues that come along with the rise of STDs. And you know what happened? We actually got the funding. And it was the first time in Utah's entire history, that the word sexually transmitted disease showed up in the state budget. And it was at a time when nobody else got funding except for that one line item got funded. And it was because I talked to people where they were at, not where I wanted them to be. I communicated with them about the importance of fertility and forever families, because that's what's important in the state of Utah. And we had a great conversation and we got that stuff funded and it was really amazing. And it actually helped. There were several other, I did a bill to help pregnant women get fast-tracked into substance abuse treatment faster. Because in a fiscally conservative environment, if you get a woman substance abuse treatment when she's pregnant, we're going to pay less for her baby down the long run. We're not going to be paying those medical bills if she gets sober, gets a job, and gets off of welfare. So you could absolutely be socially liberal and fiscally conservative at the same time. And there is no greater place to do that than the state of Utah, to be honest. I don't know what the hell's going on there now. I understand that I haven't worked there since 2011, and a lot of stuff has changed in the last 6 years. But my last legislative session in 2011 as a lobbyist, I slayed that session. And there was plenty of opportunity to kill some pretty crappy pieces of legislation there and enact some really good pieces of legislation that saved the state quite a bit of money down the road. And this is the problem. We polarize this issue to the point where we can't even sit in a room and talk to each other. And it isn't okay. And it's bullshit. And if we continue to villainize Republican women as all Republican women, we are no better than the progressives, and we're no better than the conservative religious right. It's honest to God, it's the truth. Kristen, I'm so impressed. Great answer. Come back. Yeah, y'all want me to come back to Utah, and that ain't going to happen. No. The bottom line is, there's a great quote from President Eisenhower, and it is, "In all things which deal with the people, be liberal, be human. In all things which deal with the people's money or their economy or their form of government, be conservative." We're not talking about hating each other when it talks about being conservative. It's only since Reagan in the 80s that the Republican Party has become a hateful party, as far as we are concerned as progressives, towards women and towards the queer community and towards minorities. If it's only been since the 80s, then that means in my lifetime, I was born in 1974. That means in my lifetime, we can shift it back because it hasn't been that long. And this is why it's critical to understand our history. And I talk about that so often when I'm doing these Facebook Lives. If we don't know the history, we can't be empowered to change the future because we will be doomed to repeat it. There is a reason that is a famous quote. We are doomed to repeat history if we don't know history. And what I can say is that in politics, it is troublesome to be loving, compassionate, and kind. It is hard in politics to be loving, compassionate, and kind. But if we are not, we are going to continue down this path towards self-destruction as a nation. This democracy is an experiment. Kevra, I got lots of books to read on the history. I posted 2 on the blog today. One's The Republican War on Women, that's written by a woman who is a Republican, who talks about the war on women. And then the other one, of course, is Susan Flutie's Backlash, which I also list on the blog. So I put both the books on the blog, so you can link to it on the blog today, which are really, really good. And the other thing I really want to say here in closing, so I always took the approach, even though it was hard, politically, we have to be loving, compassionate, and kind to people who may not have the same political views as us. And you're welcome, Kevra. We have to make sure that we are willing to sit down across the table from another human being and find some common ground somewhere. That doesn't happen with all the human beings. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying with a majority of people, I believe we're a lot more middle of the road than we think. And the other thing I want to say is the resistorhood doesn't work without sisterhood. The resistorhood doesn't work without sisterhood. And if we aren't willing to sit down with our sisters and sit down with the matriarchs and sit down with the other women in our community because we make assumptions that they are not like us, we are going to get nowhere as a country. And I believe that's where the power comes from. I believe that's how we're going to engage in some mayhem. And I believe that that's how we stir the shit. So my hope for you all is that you go out today and that you read the blog and share the blog and that you start having conversations with people that you don't think are like you, because you will find that you have a lot more in common than you do differently. And that's why Amy Wolf, my good friend Amy Wolf, that's why she was my inspiration for this blog. But it took me a while to write it because I really needed to be thoughtful about it. So just remember, it's Monday. So go stir up some shit, y'all. I love you. Thank you for being here. Please share my Facebook Lives. Share them widely. They're public. And share the blog too. And I hope you all have a kick-ass week. And I'll see you here on Friday for Fuck Shit Up Friday.